I was watching the Chicken Connoisseur. You seen him? Oh, okay. He's a guy on YouTube who goes around different chicken and chip shops.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard of it.
But the way he breaks down the chips and the wings and the burger, he is banter.
Yeah.
But it's become a thing now.
Yeah.
Like it's gone around and he's millions of views and it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it worked because the model was the consumer is judging you.
Right.
As opposed to a board coming in and giving you your 5-star rating or your 4-star.
Yeah.
It's the consumer saying, these wings are dead, man. Or these chips are soggy or whatever.
Yeah, watch this because the noise might be picked up here.
So I was thinking, what would be the equivalent for school? Instead of Ofsted, imagine you had school, the students rating a school. So you got because I remember I was head boy in sixth form.
Go on.
Yeah, come on. A little plug out there. Holy Family stand up. But when I was head boy, we had to do the open day speech.
Right.
And no one coerced me into what to say. Me and the head girl, we spoke whatever. We went through it and they made some suggestions, but it wasn't like, don't say this, say this.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm not gonna say the realness in front of parents that are giving their year 7s in and so obviously, and I'm head boy, so part of that comes with the whole presenting and
of course,
you've got to give it in a good light and all the rest of it. But I would love an opportunity for the students to hear what students really thought about the school they were going into.
Yeah.
Not just the prefect's opinion, but let's hear it. Let's hear what school is actually like.
It's scary because, I think it's a brilliant idea. But it's scary because I think, again, thinking about what we just discussed, a lot of young people probably don't appreciate it enough to give a balanced view, at least. Because again, I'm not saying, it all has to be nice and rosy, and no. Let it be real, but let it be balanced.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I think it might be if it's picked appropriately.
Yeah.
So
I think that's key.
It's not skewed with all the roadmen saying, let me give my opinion, and then it just ends up.
You know what, yeah? School's dead, innit?
You see that French lesson? That French teacher's dead, fam.
Dead, fam. What? Yeah, no, it's true. Or like, even the most disruptive kids. Yeah, because that's
the opposite. All the bright kids come and say, it's easy, it's a breeze.
Yeah.
Well, of course it is for you, but what's it like? It'd just be interesting to see the Ofsted version, but just students.
I think, again, that's a great idea.
Because, again, the question was going to go for, what do you look for when you're picking a school?
It's a tough one.
Because the parents will obviously go for the grades and how many A stars to C's. But then, is that short-term looking? Because then you think about, and I thought about this a couple months back, the school you go to, especially secondary school, really does dictate who you become.
100%.
Like, I would be a completely different person had I went to another school.
Yeah, 100%.
It's crazy. So it's got to be more than just the grades of the reason why you pick a school. Because
and now you're making me think. Because you're right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. It plays a massive part in who you become and how you're socialized and your view on the world. Massive.
Because even the documentary I was watching with the private school public school swap.
Yeah.
And you just saw the environment plays a big role, and so you get these state schools that flip over to private, and they're so ambitious now. There were jokers in school, but now they've entered into a culture where everyone is wanting to be someone, and now they want to be someone. And then the other side, those in private school come to the state school and they're slacking, and they they're feeling a bit awkward for having ambition. And so you just see that
it's crazy. It's
people's destinies are literally based on location.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
Which is why if you had Ofsted but students, it would open your eyes into, okay, you see the A star to C, but what's the culture like? What's the, because if let's say it was all bad, but they get A stars to C's, then you really got to weigh up, do I really want my kids to go to a school where they might get the grades but lose their soul, for example, or become...
I think that, saying that, that's one thing I'd look for. What's the culture of the school? What's the ethos? What do you believe in?
How is it? What's played out?
Yeah.
Because
of course.
What I did for my speech was what's the ethos. What I said was not what's happening in the common room down the...
What's that? Yeah. Like, yeah. How is your culture as a school actually played out day to day? How do the kids talk to each other? Because I was thinking initially, what's the behavior like? Okay. And I think it ties into that really. Because again, look, being a secondary school teacher, when that time comes, if I'm not minted and I can't send my kids to private school, or get fly tutors in, or have Zoom tutors or whatever, if I've got to send my kids to a state school, I know some of the behind the scenes stuff. So I know, they're not going to be sat there perfectly quiet, in all their lessons. And, I know teachers get stressed out. And so I get it. So I will be looking, like the culture and culture and behavior. How do people interact in your school? That's one thing I'd be looking for. Do you know what I'm saying?
And what's tolerated?
What's tolerated? Yes, that's a big one. I would also be very mindful of discipline. Again, in line with what's tolerated. Okay, is that kid who beat someone up and broke someone's nose still here?
I'd like to know.
And if he is, why? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we've got A stars. No, wait, let's stay on this topic.
Yeah.
That kid who...
Why is he still here?
Why is he still here?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Part of the culture.
So yeah, culture, behavior, discipline. But it's to be honest. I mean, I would consider the grades.
Here's the question: would you? Because I saw this like statistics on what people thought or what parents would look for when they send their kids to school, and up there was location in terms of distance to home.
Yeah.
Which I thought, makes sense. And my secondary school and my primary school, I was literally 5 minutes from.
Right.
But then now I'm thinking, with all of this that we're talking about, is it worth travelling further for that than just what's the closest one? Boom, let's go. No, even though that might be,
I'd say,
a sacrifice.
I'd say I would probably opt for travelling a little bit further.
Yeah.
Because if you think of the school in your local area, because it's within walking distance, you're gonna get any ragtag bunch just going there because it's just people are lazy.
Yeah.
By nature, we're lazy. If we pull up to a supermarket, we're parking our car as close to the entrance as possible because we're lazy. We just want to dip in, dip out, and go home. Do you know what I mean? If we walk into a building and it's got even 3 floors, you're taking the escalator or the stairs, or you're taking the lift or the escalator. You're not taking the stairs. So that means the school that's within 5-10 minutes walking distance, you're getting all sorts, mate. You're getting all sorts. And obviously, every school has a community that's within 5 to 10 minutes walking distance. But I think the further out you go, within reason, people have been a bit more selective.
Yeah.
Right, okay, I'm sending my kid here because, you know, and then location will be further down the list. It might be grades, it might be culture, it might be whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Past, what's the word? What's the word when someone leaves a school and they become alumni?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, previous alumni and stuff like that. But no, that's a tough question, and I think even as a teacher, I struggle to answer that. If I'm honest, because obviously I just go to work. I'm not looking at it as a prospective place where I might send my children one day. But considering that, no, I'm gonna.
Would you send your kids to your
my school? Another good question. You're killing them today, Jay. Wow. Would I send my kids to my school?
Because I know you would send them to French.
Yeah, of course.
I know you'd be happy, which is a good question for every teacher.
Yeah.
Would you be happy to have your kid come to your lesson if the
yeah.
relationship wasn't there?
Yeah,
And it was just
but
the school.
I definitely consider it, because as I've said, to be fair, it's a good school. It's a good school. You know, the vast majority of children are well mannered, and yeah, you know, you don't get the horror stories, the crazy violence and chairs being thrown and tables being overturned and, you know, weapons being brought to school and all kinds of contraband. You don't get that. Do you know what I'm saying? And you know, the you know, not just to kind of say, oh, it's not hell, so it's okay. Like, you know, it's some of the things that take place there. You know, like I really respect that, you know, the head teacher and what she has done. You know, when I started, we were in special measures. Okay. And now, you know, we're rated good. Things like that, you know, and knowing my colleagues, the dedication, you know, and commitment that goes into some of the teaching that's done there. You know, I would. I'm not saying it would be
number one,
but I would definitely consider it. It's a good school, and there, you know, there's some good kids there, and there are some really dedicated members of staff. So I'd consider it. And yeah, I think that's another thing I'd look for. Okay, like, what some of the extracurricular things that take place here? How else do the teachers interact with the students? You know, are there creative spaces? Are there, you know, debate clubs and stuff like that? You know, where my son or daughter could possibly, you know, even just experiment with other things. I'd look at sports, because me personally, I think it's important for young people to be active and to be creative. 100%. Say what you want about English, maths and science. You know, I also, God willing, when I have children, I want my kids to be active and to be creative as well as academic. Because again, in those spaces, you develop skills for life.
Yeah.
You know, if you're good at sports, you have an idea of working as part of a team. It's a soft skill that you develop. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're good at art, or you're good at anything creative, you're more adept to expressing yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would definitely look at what's going on. I would probably look at those departments, PE and the creative departments, and I would look at extracurricular clubs. You know, okay, yeah, can they get involved in, is there a football team, or is there a rugby team, or even a cricket team? Do you know what I'm saying? Or gymnastics, and what do you, as a school, do you have links to, you know, regional competitions, or, you know, what's happening in terms of your sports program, you know, and creatively as well. Yeah, I would look at, okay, you know, what's the how much support does the art department get, and is it taken seriously here? And again, I'm not saying my kid's gonna come out and be Rembrandt or whatever, but as long as, if they wanted to, they would be allowed to express themselves in that way, and it be taken seriously.
Yeah.
That's a big win for me.
Yeah.
Definitely. Same with drama as well. So I'd probably look at the drama department. Do you know what I mean? Just try and think outside the box a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And even when you said if they take it seriously.
If they take it seriously, yeah.
Yeah, because obviously the English and the maths, everyone's trying to.
Yeah.
But if you can see someone taking seriously the things that people would throw away, then you know that then their focus is not just the grades as the person, but then also the least of the issues. I'd also want to know how they treat the least of the kids. So like the SENs.
Yeah.
Even if my kid isn't, I'd like to know
Yeah.
how you would treat the outcasts.
Yeah, because that feeds back into the culture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, what is your school like as a society?
Exactly, which is what it is.
Because that's what schools are. They're micro versions of society, literally. Because you've got hierarchy, you've got authority, you know, you've got rules and regulations, you've got everything that you've got in society. You've got, you know, the idea of reward. If you work hard, you get better grades. If you work harder,
prison.
do you know? But do you know what I'm saying? If you in the working world, you work harder, you get paid more money. In the school world, you study harder, you get better grades. So it's so yeah. No, that's a really good point. I would look at the sort of the SEN department and again, is it taken seriously? So I thought, when you first asked the question, I thought, yeah, you know, I'd have maybe 2 or 3 things. But thinking about it, I would fish around a lot.
It's not a quick choice.
It's not. I would fish around a lot, and I'd ask a lot of probably uncomfortable questions for educational establishments. And I'm surprising myself how much I actually know, because I thought, man, I don't really know, but no. Yeah, I would look at a lot of that periphery stuff, because it's not the English, math, science 7 to 9. If anything, that would be. I'm not saying it wouldn't be important at all, or it would be way down the bottom of my list, but it'd be much lower.
Yeah, it feeds back to the main question: is it worth it? Is all of this worth it? At the end of it, is that really the main factor of my kid being successful? Because if it is, then I guess I do care. If it's not, then the question is what is, and then the question is, are you doing it?
Yeah, because I think for me, I would put it this way: I would rather my kid, and it might sound a bit crazy, but I'd rather my kid leave school with, say, 4, 5s and 6s, but have had a good experience, and they're a more rounded person and better prepared for the world. They're more diverse and flexible, but they've got 4, 5s and 6s, as opposed to have 7, 8s and 9s, and they're cold, they're cutthroat, they lack compassion, you know, and they've had a bad experience. Do you know what I'm saying? If I had to choose between the two, I'm choosing the 4, 5s and 6s, because think about it, like, again, as well as everyone remembers at least one good teacher, everyone remembers things about their years at school. The friends you made, the antics you got up to, you know, the day when that teacher left or whatever. You remember these things, and it's the things that you don't teach. Who you played football with, whose house you jammed at, you know, after school, the first girl you fancied. You remember these things, and it's part of the experience as a whole. And I would want my children to have had a good experience overall. You know, they've got even 2, 3, 4 good friends that they're going to stay friends with for years, you know, and they went on an amazing trip, you know, they went abroad on, you know, to New York or something, or they went on an amazing trip that played a part in changing their life or changing their perspective. you know, or they were involved in a production that was done at the Royal Albert Hall. Things like that. Because you can't, that's not 7 to 9. Do you know what I'm saying? That's life. That's the things you remember. That's part of, as you said, it's part of who you are and how you see the world. So I'd be trying to really gauge how well the school I'm going to choose is going to shape my child as a person overall. What role is that school going to play in shaping the character my child's going to have?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Overall, even if their grades aren't 7, 8, 9. Do you know what I mean? This is a tough one.
It's tough.